Hello everybody, my name is JordyPastor, and today I want to talk about Jazzmaster Jaguar style bridges. As you guys can see right here, I have a Jaguar. This is a Squire. It's like a hybrid of a Squire Fender because I pretty much got a body of a Squire and changed the neck for a 1965 Jaguar Fender neck. Amazing, super skinny neck. But I'm gonna talk about that in another video about how I assembled this guitar. Like, I literally got like an empty body with pickups, and I put all the hardware, like the bridge, the tailpiece, the whammy, the neck. I had to put a shim and stuff. But yeah, I will talk about that in another video. But today I want to talk about this. Let me take off the plate. I want to talk about the Jaguar Jazzmaster vintage style bridge. It's a bitch, man. Everybody seems to hate these. I don't know what it is. Not everybody, but a lot of people, they hate the fact that they're so man, they're hard to deal with. Like, getting the intonation right can be kind of hard sometimes, you know, especially because this thing rocks left and right, back and forth. That right there. It's like a you see that? There you go. Whatever, like it's, dude, you can shift it like crazy. It's like a seesaw, you know? So every time you shift something, it'll affect everything else pretty much. It's got that seesaw effect going on. So whenever I set it up, I basically had to make sure every time by looking at it sideways, you know, I would like usually get a good view if it was straight or not. And then I would grab my screwdriver and, you know, do the adjustments over here. But every time that I would do an adjustment, I found that I was accidentally pushing on the bridge. So my adjustments wouldn't be completely accurate after I pushed it. So every time that I would make an adjustment, I would find myself having to, you know, reset it to its completely neutral, flat position. You know, it's a bitch. And getting the intonation was really weird too, because normally you get like a staircase kind of pattern where it goes like, goes like low, high, high, and then low, high, high. But in this case, the low E string, in order for me to get perfect intonation, I had to set it like that. And not only that, but right now it's not. Hey, it's actually kind of in tune. It actually sounds kind of good right now. I'm surprised. Well, it's because I got the intonation almost perfectly. And not only that, but getting complete clearance from, let me flip this over here. Hopefully you guys can get a good view. Getting full clearance with the strings, making sure that they're not touching the rim over here and they're not touching the screw, that is kind of hard. Sometimes you may have to rock your bridge this way and leave it like that to avoid the string making contact with that screw, because that'll take away like resonance clearance whenever you're setting it up. You know, you don't want the strings to be touching, and sometimes that can be a little bit hard to do. So what you can do in order to achieve that is you can use an Allen wrench. It has to be the smallest one. I use one of these things that has it's like a multi-tool. It has a very small Allen wrench. I had a hard time because I got a set of Allen wrenches, and this is the only size that actually worked, man. It's like tiny. It's freaking tiny. But yeah, very small Allen wrench. So yes. Well, you must adjust the height of the saddle to get it to where it's high enough to have clearance on both sides. Usually your middle two strings are going to be the higher ones, and it's like a little bit of an arc effect that should be like a radius, you know. Like generally your D and G are going to be like the highest ones in the saddles, but yeah, you want the strings to be able to vibrate very freely, right? So that is another thing about it. Well, let me talk about one of the main issues about these bridges. One of the things that people really hate about them, it's the fact that they have that's a better view. So if you can see over here, these vintage style Jaguar bridges have these tiny little grooves, and people have like problems with slippage where the string will go out of whack and they'll be moving it without wanting to. And well, let me tell you something right off the bat. That issue can be solved simply by changing the gauge of the strings. I've noticed that using standard 10s, like 0.10 gauge strings, is going to cause more slippage, especially on the fat string, you know, because a 10, and if you get a 0.10 pack, definitely the lower string is way too thick for that. You know, you could get a standard pack, but then just change out the low E. But who would want to do that? You know, I would just get 9s and probably strumming. You know, it's a Jaguar Jazzmasters that have that bridge. It makes sense. It like they're meant. I guess the name Jazz, the name Jazz. You're not. I don't know if you're supposed to play like an animal on these, you know, like strumming like, oh, like really hard. But I guess there's a lot of punk rockers out there who do that. So, hey, I'm not judging anybody around here, but I'm just saying that using a lighter gauge will prevent the string from slipping out of the groove. It really helps. I think that it really makes a difference just doing that. Yes, another thing is I like to keep the bridge pretty straight. Usually, you know, I like to keep it in its most neutral position, but hey man, if your best setup, if the setup that you did makes it to where you got to have it like that, the bridge to far to the right like that, or maybe your setup makes it to where you got to have it on that way, you never know, you know. Sometimes that could be the way that it works, sometimes that could be the way that it doesn't work, who knows. In my case, I tried as best as I could to get the thing as straight as possible and make sure that I did the adjustments, all the intonation adjustments exactly while having it straight. By the way, all the hardware that I put on this guitar, it's Fender hardware. So I guess that helps too with intonation, you know, like having a good neck and having good hardware, you know, definitely. And I know that the vintage, I'm a purist, a little bit of a purist, not gonna lie, and I know that the vintage stuff with Fender, even though it's finicky, it can be really amazing. It can be really awesome. Another thing that I want to talk about real quick is the bridge plate, which is pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Like right now, I'm kind of struggling, like getting in it. There we go. There, I actually had to get a pair of pliers. I had to get a pair of pliers and literally bend it, like the metal, like the aluminum or whatever material that is. I had to like bend it, you know, so that get it to where it's nice and snug now, you know, it stays on, because it doesn't have like a locking system. It doesn't have any screws of any kind. It has nothing like that. So yes, oh shit. Oh fuck, man. I didn't mean to do that. It just popped right off. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like these bridges? You know, do you guys hate the fact that it sort of rocks back and forth like that? I kind of like it personally. I don't mind it, man, because I don't play that hard either, you know. I can. Yeah, I don't usually see that as a problem at all. The only thing that I did find weird, intonation-wise, was having the E be a little bit, you know, like the fact that I didn't have to elongate the string more, like the pattern usually indicates. So I don't know what the fuck is up with that, but hey, it works. And if you have any questions, any comments, anything, please leave them down below. Ask anything. Please subscribe. I'm gonna keep trying to make more technical videos about guitar-related stuff, because I've been getting into guitar teching very heavily lately. You know, I spent a couple hours on the workbench with this guitar. It was very fun. I assembled it. I had to put a neck shim in there, you know, and all that good stuff. It was an interesting experience. But thank you very much for watching. Subscribe. You guys have a great day. Bye.